I'm not convinced I know how to read. I've just memorized a lot of words.
The first rule of Fight Club is, you do not talk about Fight Club.
True. All life ends in death, which we, as a species, are cursed with knowing, resulting in something. Again, this is really not my field.
It's the Al Travis Show. She's been on for quite some time. One of her faves. She's Senator Karin Housley and my good buddy Phil. Do you think I should actually meet Phil if I'm going to keep introducing him as that?
I do tell him that you call him your good buddy Phil. Yeah, next time you're up here in God's country in Stillwater, you let me know and we'll go meet you downtown for dinner.
Gonna have to do that because I keep using and abusing him and he's never even met me. You've been busy. I've been following you on the Facebook. Can you tell us a little bit about the Veterans Memorial thing? Do they not have a backhoe? You had to shovel this yourself? I think a senator shouldn't have to do that.
It's all for the Insta. Got to get that pic for the Insta. Yeah, we got some money for the Forest Lake Memorial Park up in Forest Lake. Senator Fong Her, who's the chair of the Legacy Committee, got us some money. So we've got a groundbreaking. It's going to be, it's right downtown in Lakeside Park. It's going to be a beautiful memorial for all of our veterans. So it was groundbreaking. It should be ready, I think, spring of 2026, except for the one centerpiece. But yeah, it was fun to see all the Forest Lake people. Then we went on over to Scandia and we had a big parade over there. The sun came out just for 45 minutes to allow us to do the parade, and then it started to pour again on Saturday. But yeah, busy.
Scandia days are this late in the summer, really?
Yep, it's the last parade of the season, Taco Days in Scandia. Yep.
You have been quite busy. I appreciate you finding time to be on the program with us. You are on, as I understand it, 2 or 3 fantasy leagues, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me as far as how you root for other people that aren't on your team, but my kids do the same. So I know you're into the football. How excited are we for today? The start of the season is fresh. It's new. What are your thoughts?
First of all, I didn't know the season started on Thursday night, so I didn't even have my line. I thought for sure it started Sunday, so I was like, oh my gosh, I totally missed Thursday. And now this morning, I'm still getting over that football game last night, the Buffalo Bills playing with Baltimore. Holy moly. I had an early morning breakfast. I had to be at it in Minneapolis at 7 a.m. and I couldn't go to sleep because the Bills came back. And in the last, 0 time on the clock, and the Bills kick a field goal to win. Crazy. I am so excited. In 2 fantasy football leagues. One's the Gridiron Ladies, that there's a lot of lobbyists and politicians, and it's a girl group. And then my other one is with my family, my husband and all of our kids and their spouses, and the 2 grandkids, Lewis and Archer, who we went to dinner with Lewis. He's only 9. Mm-hmm. He was just spewing off all of these NFL players and their stats and who owned which player on their team and how they were doing. And he kept checking my phone to see how his team was doing. This morning he was doing the happy dance and taunting our daughter Avery because he beat her 114-90. So fun. And I'm so excited for tonight's Vikings game too. Yes.
Well, let's go with the fantasy football thing. Because this is the way I think most of us think this would go, but I bet you it's the opposite. Most people think my buddy Phil wants to crush his grandkids, teach them a valuable lesson in sports, but he's probably the little one who throws the game. So and you're probably the one who does the happy dance when you crush one of your grandkids. Which is it?
We are both crushing whoever we can. We don't care how old you are. And we taunt.
That is cruel.
And you say, yep, you want us to talk smack here, Lewis and Archer? I'll bring it.
Wow.
So no, there is, even when Phil plays knee hockey with them, he's like, nope, you know what? Not everybody's a winner. Wow. Yeah.
All right.
It's a tough crowd, but you know what? They learn early at the Housley house.
Yes. Yeah. And you would to survive. I like that. I see Phil playing with a 9-year-old hockey. Poor kid. Just checking into the window and, giving him out of the way for the goal. Okay.
Just remember, he's got the bad back and he is 61. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a handicap with the 10-year-old. Yeah.
Let me ask you this then. How do you see the game going tonight? What are your thoughts?
It's you know what? I'm gonna say we're gonna win by 7. I'm going to say
That's
7.
what I got. I said 24-17. I got 24-17. I think the defenses are going to, it'll be interesting who has a better defense and how that works. I also think that then I have to stay up to the very last moment to see who's got the ball last, which doesn't make me happy, but I do think it's going to be a tight ball game.
It is going to be. It's going to be fun. I hope the score is 24-17 for us. I would like to see some touchdowns. Those games that are so low scoring are so boring. So hopefully we get that many touchdowns.
I don't know how much you talk with my buddy Phil about coaching and that sort of thing, but there's this, we don't know what J.J. McCarthy is all about, right? It's Monday Night Football. It's his first start, yada, yada. Coach, your husband has had new kids, first time in their first hockey game in the NHL, stuff like that. I get there would be, quote unquote, some nerves. But J.J. McCarthy played and won the national championship. It's not like this first time he was on national TV. This would be his first game if it was Sunday or Monday. Can you have more, it's my first game jitters, and then on top it's Monday night? Is there a level of jitteriness that any kid gets?
Yeah, absolutely. Your first game and being on Monday night, I can't even imagine what that kid's going through. I mean, they've got techniques to try and like dial it back and breathing exercises and meditation and all of that, but it's still there. Monday Night Football is the show. Yeah. So I'm sure he's thinking about it right now. I'm sure he didn't sleep much last night. He's going to have to be doing a lot of calm breathing today to get ready for tonight. But we'll see what he's made of mentally. We'll see on that first possession. We'll see. All right, yeah, it should be interesting. We're going to go to break early because there seems to be some stuff going on between maybe special sessions, not special sessions. Is Walz in or out? We'll talk about it all with Senator Karin Housley right after this.
When the stakes are high at the Minnesota Capitol, you need more than a lobbyist. You need a partner. At Momentum Advocacy, we bring nearly 90 years of combined experience in government relations, public affairs, and strategic communications. From nonprofits to national corporations, we help organizations navigate Minnesota's political landscape with integrity, insight, and results. Whether you need legislative champions or headlines, Momentum Advocacy delivers. For more, visit momentum-advocacy.com. Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol.
Tired of one-sided media and divisive noise drowning out your conservative values? Take back the conversation with Braver Angels. Join a grassroots movement to restore civility and find common ground without compromising your principles. As a conservative, your voice matters. Share your perspective on issues like immigration and public health in Red Blue workshops and help rebuild trust in our great nation. Be a leader in depolarizing America. Sign up for free at mn.braverangels.org. Braver Angels, where conservatives, liberals, and independents unite for a stronger republic.
The Al Travis Show, the last place you can go and hear all sides. Respectful, thoughtful, and grateful.
Kind of glad to have her on the program. She's Senator Karin Housley. And to discuss this, Senator, as I understand it, the governor is having a fundraiser on Tuesday. It's called Walls World, and doesn't necessarily know if it's going to be for the governorship, whether he's going to go, I don't know, the Senate, the vice president. Is it common for folks in your line of work to just have a fundraiser and not let anybody know if you're actually running? Is that normal?
Well, remember, we're talking about him, and anybody who has a fundraiser and calls it a world after themselves, Walls World, like what kind of an ego is that? Like, can you just have a fundraiser for the Tim Walz Committee? No, we're going to call it Walls World. I wonder what kind of rides and magicians they're going to have there. Like, seriously, Walls World. It just pretty much says, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't decide. I'm not a leader, so I'm just going to have a fundraiser. Who knows what he's having it for? If it's probably some PAC that's either going to be a federal PAC or a state PAC that the money will go to. And maybe he hasn't even decided yet. As they walk in the door and they're writing their checks, he will announce, I'm running for whatever, blank, fill in the blank, and then fill in your check accordingly. Who knows? No, it's not common.
Okay, because this is, according to sources, they're saying that he's not convinced he wants to run again, but his supporters and staff think he should. Of course, that's how they make their money. So, I mean, again, not necessarily shocked. That it would be his best chance if he wants to go further, because he would be the first 3-time governor in Minnesota. Minnesota loves me. It would bolster him going, to that next step. But isn't that a two-sided coin? If he goes and he doesn't seem to really want it, but he puts in a half effort and loses, isn't it done? On the same line that you couldn't even win your own state, you're not going to be the president?
Well, yeah, and I got a phone call the other day. This was probably about 10 days ago. A poll, and it definitely, I had to get halfway through the poll to figure out who it was coming from, because I asked who was doing the poll, and they said it was a blind poll. But it was definitely Tim Walz's camp taking a poll on whether or not he should be running again. Oh, wow. So here he's trying to figure that out, because he does know, yes, if he runs and loses, which there is a big chance he could lose, because that whole running at the national level really exposed who Tim Walz really is, because our own local media wouldn't do it. So the national media had to do it. And all of a sudden people are like, whoa, I didn't know about his military career and that he lied about it. And I didn't know that he did this. So I think there's a real chance he loses. And if he loses, right, he has no platform to get to the next level. So I really don't think he's running again. I think his whole message to say he wasn't running was delayed because of all of the things that happened this summer that were horrific.
But doesn't that put his team in really a bad spot? If he's not, you know what I'm saying, how late can you go? State fair is over. We're a week past the state fair. I know things have been happening, but things happen all the time. And these are huge, but...
Well, his team still has a job for another year, so they have plenty of time to go find something.
Oh, not that
else.
team. I meant DFLers in general.
Oh,
if you're
DFLers,
not in, somebody going to get in? What?
They are so coordinated. I'm sure... On the inside, they already know who they're going to anoint, whether it's Amy Klobuchar or whoever they're going to pull in. I was even thinking it might be Steve Grove from the Minnesota Star Tribune, because it seems like when he went from the Department of Economic Development over to the Minneapolis Star Tribune, that's pretty much just been a platform for Walz and all of the lefties' message there, that they might anoint Steve Grove and bring him back. So I think they're coordinated enough that as soon as Walz says he's not running again, the next person has already been, there's going to be no room for anybody to even, that's just how they do it over there.
Well, I'm just trying to figure it out, because now Walz is saying that he may call this special session to get gun control under wraps in a special session before you all get back in February, because we must act. We must act now. Ron Latz and Marty both came out and said, this makes no sense. We don't have the numbers. Why would you do something like that? The Republicans don't want to have it. And in fact, I will give Representative Damuth real credit. She came out and said, great, here are the 3 things we need: mental health, this, that, and so mental people can't get guns. She laid it out. But it sounded like she had a plan. No one else in the room seems to have one. Except for making you take a vote, why would Walz look this ridiculous and call a special session that could drag on forever and never get anything done?
Because that's just the kind of leader he is. He doesn't think things through. He doesn't even talk to his own party to see if, and absolutely, they do not want to have a special session. And when Speaker Damith came out and said, all right, sure, we'll have a special session, and this is what we want to address. Because what they did in 2023, that they said when they passed the red flag law, this was going to stop all kinds of violence like this. It didn't work. It didn't work. We had solutions that would work. They don't want to listen. We had $300 million for SROs, school resource officers in our schools. They voted that down. We had things that were going to work, addressing kids being safe in school and mental health. They just want to go straight to the red flag law, and it didn't work. So this is the kind of leader he is. If he were truly a leader, he would be behind closed doors, sitting down with Senator Mark Johnson, Speaker Damith, and whoever the future leader is over in the House to come up with something, get that solidified that everybody can agree to, and go into a special session if that's what's needed. But I think he spews things out because he thinks it's what the people want to hear, and then he now blames Republicans for not having a special session because we won't go into special session. Oh, yes, we will. Yes, we will. And here's what we're going to talk about. So he just doesn't think things through.
Well, and it just seems that if you're going to want to be president someday, you'd have some sort of master plan, and I'm not catching it. Let me ask you this, and maybe you know these guys, maybe you don't, but the DFL supposedly is going to figure out who the leader is over there, and it'll either be Zach Stephenson or Jamie Long. Honestly, and I feel horrible to say this, I don't know either one of these two cats. Do you know them? Would they be good at that job? Would they be like Hortman as far as everybody, she worked well with others. You may not have liked her politics, but she could get along. Do you know anything about these two cats?
Yeah, I know Representative Zach Stevenson well. He was the chair of the Commerce Committee, and we worked on a lot of the liquor legislation together.
Okay.
He's a good guy. It's going to be tough to replace Hortman because she was so good about. I mean, they've got far left factions, and then they've got a lot of middle of the road. So to keep all of those people in line when you're at a 67 is going to be really, really tough for anybody. And she had the experience and the respect from her own caucus. So I don't know. I don't know. Whoever it is, I'm sure Speaker Damith will be able to negotiate things with them.
All right. And did you read this, that Senator Mitchell wanted to delay her sentencing because one of her three lawyers was sick? And I think she got it. If I'm not mistaken, I read that she actually got it delayed for another 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's September 23rd or 4th or 5th or something like that. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. She's got 3 attorneys. This is just the sentencing. There's not anything that anybody can do at this point. I think she's realized that she is going to be doing some jail time and just needed a couple more weeks to get her things in order. I'm not sure, but to use the excuse that one of her attorneys was sick, this is how she's done the whole thing. She just keeps delaying. So we will see. And I hear up there the prosecutors pretty confident that she will be serving some jail time, as she should.
Getting your things in order, this is what just amazes me. This is a almost 2.5-year-old incident now. You might have thought I'm going to shoot for the stars and I won't get convicted, but don't you have to have a plan B in case I do? What happens now? And we're still working on how that's going to happen. I mean,
so she broke into her stepmom's house April of 2024. So we're not quite 2 years yet.
All right.
But I honestly believe that she thought when she got on the stand and told her story with her little schoolgirl bow blue blouse and her hair up and a little bobby pin in the back, and she talked directly to the jury, that they were going to believe her because she was the victim here. And so she thought for sure. So she didn't plan beyond that. And now it's like, oh my gosh, this is really happening to me. I'm going to jail because I did something wrong, like she said, on the night she was arrested.
Got it. We got to fly. We're out of time. I love having you on. Senator, thanks for being here.
See ya.
Say hi to my buddy Phil. Senator Karin Housley on the Al Travis Show.